There are growing local concerns over recent works on the Tulla Road. Some residents raising questions about the impact of the changes to the road layout. That includes reduced carriage space, new cycle lanes, widened footpaths and raised kerbing as well. Real concerns that during peak traffic this congestion could become even more severe, and that emergency vehicles such as ambulances or fire services might be facing difficulties in accessing the area quickly. Supporters of the project say the works are aimed at improving safety for pedestrians and cyclists, but others feel the changes may be creating new risks for drivers and emergency response times. To discuss this further, I'm joined by local resident Angela Nolan, who is out that side of town, as we say. Angela, you might give us maybe your lived experience of maybe where all this has come from.
To be very honest, I don't know where it's all come from. I don't know why they've put in bicycle lanes and walking lanes that are the same size as driving lanes on both sides of the road. I just don't understand it. And I drive that road a good few times a day. And when this all started, I was kind of thinking, okay, maybe they're just doing the footpaths. You know, maybe they're fixing the footpaths. But as it was progressing, you could kind of see, okay, hold on now, they seem to be doing a bit more than this. And then you realise that there's nearly 4 lanes of traffic now. And the main traffic lanes are nearly smaller than the bicycle lanes and the pedestrian, the walking lane. And I kind of started to take note in my head. And in the past 2 months, at different times of the day, it's not like it's just morning, that it's just evening, or it's lunchtime, it's Saturdays, it's Sundays, it's all different days. I've seen 2 cyclists on those lanes. And definitely on more than 10 occasions, luckily, nothing has happened emergency-wise yet. But before, when you were driving down those roads and an ambulance came, or the guards came, or the fire brigade came, you heard the sirens or you saw the lights, and everyone would be able to pull in, let them go by, and go to an emergency. Now you can't. You can't do that, because all of these lanes, the cycle lane, pedestrian, they're all curbed now. Mm. So, and there's nowhere for them to go. And everyone who knows Ennis will know that that's one of the main roads into Ennis, and especially for the hospital and the fire brigade, because that's the side of town that they're on. That's the road they use to get out. So they can't, if you look at it, if there is an accident, if there is a fire, if there is an emergency, and those lanes are, if it's peak time, they're not getting out there. They're not getting anywhere. And I did see somebody say, oh, but they can use the bike lane then and the pedestrian lane. I can't see a fire brigade driving down that lane, those 2 lanes. It's crazy.
And is that kind of mood or feeling something that you're being reflected in with all the local people in that area?
Every single person that I speak to, that I drive with, and my father's actually a cyclist. He's been a cyclist all his life, racing. He was, and he's 80 now, and he personally thinks it is the most ridiculous thing that he's ever seen in his life. And it's not just in Ennis; it's in a lot of places across the country. I don't know who came up with this, but they're absolutely deluded if they think that this is helping anyone. It's not helping anyone.
And just on that point,
don't need that.
Yeah, just on that point, was there much or any local consultation before this, or did these works just kind of start of a morning and take you all by surprise?
Took everyone by surprise. Nobody knew that's what was happening. As I said, everyone seemed to think that they were just relaying the road, which desperately needed. That's not been done. Or the path, which was desperately needed. Yes, that's been done, but they've put, as I said, a cycle lane and a walking lane on both sides. So it's like a 4 lane, but only two lanes can be used by traffic.
And I know in your social media post as well, Angela, there was concerns raised about flooding issues. We thought maybe coming towards June we'd be out of those, but obviously not. And that's creating problems as well.
Well, only last week there was a couple of days there. Was it Friday and Saturday? Absolute downpours, and I was coming out of town and out the Tulla Road, and the flooding was ridiculous. And the flooding is on the dip of the bicycle lane and the walking lane. So now if you get a cyclist coming up along there, they're not going to cycle through a flood. They'll go out onto the road. So it's absolutely crazy.
And I know you mentioned that...
why they have it.
I know you mentioned previously there that you've kind of maybe subconsciously counted cyclists since this infrastructure was put in place, but from your previous experience, was it a case of that you were seeing lots of cyclists on that stretch of road that might have needed it even before that? No, I don't understand why they were put in there. It's not like you'd have 10 or 15 people cycling up and down that road every hour of the day. It's not like it's Dublin or Cork where people would use that mode of transport going in and out of the city to avoid traffic. There was no need for it, no cause for it. I'd love to know. I really would like for someone to tell me who came up with that idea. Have you seen
because
it?
It's the biggest waste of money.
Have you seen a real tangible increase in maybe congestion? I know it's a very busy thoroughfare out to town, out to a very, very busy populated area. Has the traffic increased noticeably because of it?
It's not that the traffic has increased. The traffic is the same. There's no point in lying about that. The traffic is the same. It's when you are in traffic and you see an ambulance coming and you can't go anywhere. You can't move. And especially if you've a fire brigade and they're on the way to an accident or to a fire. Doesn't every second count when it comes to a fire? And now you could have a fire brigade stuck inside the traffic on that road for 3-4 minutes. Somebody's gone.
I suppose from your point of view then, what would you like to see done next? I suppose it looks like the layout is in place now. Is it a case of reassessing it or remodifying it, or what do you think is the way around it?
I think most part of it, the only thing that could be done to anyway rectify it is pull up the curbs. Because the curbing is a big problem. You know, you'd have to be a lot more cautious than you are anyway if there was a cyclist there. But I'm not thinking about traffic here, about we're stuck in traffic. I'm thinking about the emergency vehicles who have to use that road. They can't now. They can't overtake anyone. Nobody can move in. So the first thing they should do is start looking at pulling up the curbs. Because that's the biggest problem.
So is it a case then of maybe from a public representative perspective or whatever, to take your concerns to them and see maybe if that could be done to alleviate it some bit? Yeah. I was actually going to get on to a local TD that I know and one of the councillors just to kind of go, lads. And the funny thing is, there's a few of them have actually said as well, it's crazy. It's crazy what they've done there. I don't know who they consulted about this. Whoever put it down, Clare County Council, because I can guarantee, I can't even guarantee it because I haven't a clue who would have agreed to this. Okay, well, look, we'll keep an eye on how things develop on it anyway and see if we can maybe perhaps get some answers on that. But for the moment, Angela, thanks so much for taking the time to highlight it with us.
All right, thanks very much, Derrick.
And thanks to Angela for taking the time to have a chat with us. Now, we have reached out to Clare County Council for a response on this particular discussion, and as soon as we get a statement, we will bring that to you here on Morning Focus.